first time you knew that you loved art?
Oh gosh, that I loved art?
Yeah.
Probably maybe fourth grade, although I don't, it's hard to say. I actually think I didn't know I loved it, but I did love it as early as the drawings that are across the way that are technically my early work.
Yeah, yeah.
I pulled in drawings that I did that my mother saved, and I'm probably 3. So I think that you can tell just by the way that I use color and the mark making, kind of the spirit of the way that I do the image. I think I loved it then.
Yeah.
And I think I was conscious of, hey, I might be pretty good at this. In the 4th grade, when I looked around the classroom and we were doing drawings of, I think it was Eskimos or something, and it was like, my Eskimos they look all right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a thing, and I started to get some positive reinforcement. And then my parents kind of quickly knew that I really loved it and that I might have an aptitude for it. And I was fortunate enough to get a really wonderful private instructor that I studied with from the time I was 10 until I graduated high school.
Wow.
It set me up to go to art school. It was super helpful. Yeah, I mean, to be able to have that kind of classical training as a young person and have somebody pour into me like that. So it was wonderful.
Challenge you?
Yes, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
When did you know that you wanted to make art as your career?
I made the decision. I was torn between actually going to med school and going to art school as a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And so I think I loved both of those things. Through high school, I made the decision to veer toward the arts.
Yeah.
Really that senior year in high school, because I recognized that even though I enjoyed a lot about medicine and I felt like I could be effective in a lot of different ways, I also probably was not emotionally wired to be a doctor, in that the first time somebody died, I would have quit and been devastated. I'm like, well, maybe you wear your heart too much on your sleeve to go into medicine. So, but those were the two.
So, do you have a favorite artist or one of your favorite artists? Just one.
That's tough. Just one?
Yeah, you can pick one out, or you can say 2 or 3, either way.
I think my probably single biggest hero, artistic hero in terms of, would be Wayne Thiebaud. Mm-hmm. And I have learned more over the years about color and color placement by studying his work. And plus he was also a teacher too. And I think I admired so much that he achieved that level of recognition and still stayed very grounded and very devoted to his students. So he would, if I had to choose one, I'd probably say Wayne Thiebaud.
Okay.
But there are dozens, so many to learn so much from and to admire. So,
how long have you been teaching as an art teacher?
I'm completing my 37th year at Anderson. No. So I started in 1988, and then I taught for a few years before. So when all is said and done, it's been 2/3 of my life. I've taught for about 40 years.
Yeah.
But 37 here at AU.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's a real accomplishment.
Well, longevity, I guess. Yes. But yeah, no, it's a lot to think about, and then to stand in a room where you actually kind of look at work done over that 37-year period. It sort of hit home once the show was installed. It's like, wow, that's kind of crazy, both in terms of how long it's been, but as we all know, it's a flash. It's just a flash.
It is.
But what a privilege, though, to be able to to work with students, that long, and to have them. They really enrich my life, So it's been a gift to me.
And so, how does it feel whenever you see a student? They go out, they get a job, they're successful, they're talented. You saw when they came in, and you saw when they left.
That's as sweet as it gets. I think and I think that's true of any teacher. It's not just me. I think that if you're a teacher when you truly take more delight in the accomplishments of your students and the successes of your students than you do your own. So I feel, enormous pride, when I see them go out and excel like that. And it's, it's very satisfying to think that I might have had a small part in their development during that. So that's meaningful.
Right.
That's meaningful.
Oh, and how many you've turned out or been a part of them. Yeah, because you teach a lot of different courses, right?
I do. I in recent years, I've been a half-time administrator and a half-time faculty member, but have never stopped teaching. So, but no, I was the department head for the Department of Art and Design for 23 years. And I was teaching, about half-time during that period too. And then also I've been the associate dean of the School of the Arts for the past 6 or 7 years. And again, maintaining half-time, in terms of just administrative work, but also with the students. I really didn't want to go further up into the administration because I didn't want to lose the students. I mean, that's what brought me here. That's where my heart is. I enjoy the administrative stuff, but only in that I think it really helps me help the students and help the faculty. That's the draw there. So
yes, that I know. I've got friends' kids that came through the program, and I just saw progression from what little bit I did.
Oh my gosh, it's a different program from the one that I started in. It's a different university than the one that I started when we were 2-year Anderson College. So to see us go from 2-year Anderson College to the comprehensive university that we are now is incredibly exciting.
And can you tell me like something that you've seen that's changed over the years in the art?
I think our core commitment to teaching and to the students has been the constant. So I'll start with what hasn't changed. I think we're still very much student focused and investing in them, and all of us, pouring into them. Everything else has changed, though. I mean, in terms of just the scope and the size and scope of our programs, the additional faculty members. When I started, I was faculty member number 3. And so there were only 3 of us for the longest time, and then gradually grew to 4, and now we have a dozen full-time, and just absolutely extraordinary folks.
Wow.
So I think that the growth in quality and quantity. We've just continued to, but still have maintained that same kind of student-focused, collegial program that we were when there were just 3 of us.
Yeah, that is very good, and I would say y'all compete with most any school with a 4-year degree.
Absolutely. I would, and again, I fully acknowledge my bias. You can't stay someplace this long and not be positively biased toward. But the truth is, I would put our students up with anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
What always tickled me is people like, oh, you're getting an art degree, and it's a hard degree. It's a very hard degree.
Oh, I think, that's easy for them to say, but unless they're in it, our students work as hard as any. In terms of just time on task in class and what you need to do outside of class. And as you know, the creative fields are incredibly competitive.
Yes.
So yes, you have to be dedicated and work really hard. It is not an easy major.
No.
It isn't.
Now that you're retiring from teaching, and what do you plan to do with your time and your art moving forward?
I'm excited. I want to be in my studio more. I'm a part of a studio co-op in Greenville. I have been for over 20 years, called the Art Bomb Studios. Great collegial group of folks. Really enjoy being there. So I'm definitely eager to invest more in my own creative work. I want to travel. I want to spend more time with family and friends. I want to volunteer more. I feel the need. I haven't decided, what and all, and I know it's going to take a while to adjust.
Yes.
And I've been telling folks I don't think I'm going to realize that I've retired, maybe until the fall when everybody else goes back to school. And then I don't. That's going to be, and then it'll be like, oh, okay, now what? So, but I'm excited. I'm not going to be bored.
Right.
And I'm not going to be a stranger. I've told my colleagues, and my students, it's like, of course I'll be around.
I'll bring you a sub.
Yeah, I'll come in. I'll do a guest critique. I might even entertain teaching it occasionally, but not for a while. This first year, I just want to kind of adjust. Sort of.
Well, we sure appreciate the influence that you've had on the art community and of students. Your dedication has made a world of difference. It really has. We definitely value the arts, and so that's we just appreciate you too, Carol.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words and the chance to talk with you today, Deborah.